So let's just take inhale and breathe our shoulders up, and exhale, squeeze our shoulder blades gently together and let the shoulder blades down. Squeeze up with the shoulder blades, and exhale, gently squeeze, feeling the opening in front of the body. And one more, squeeze up, and exhale, and just experience, open up through that front of the chest. With each inhale, we're going to imagine that imaginary string reaching, pulling gently from the top of our crown of our head. Exhale and contract through the belly, drawing your navel towards your spine. And just take a moment here, feel your body. As we approach, let's come to stillness. And if you want, you can find a steady gaze point or gently lower your eyes or your eyelids. And just take a moment of calmness, of stillness, of comfort and ease. Just start to notice your body. Notice where your mind is drifting off to. Notice your breath. There's no expectations. Just begin to observe and develop your awareness. So when you feel that itch pop up on your leg or your head, see if you can just watch it instead of reacting and scratching. And just see where it goes. And in all likelihood, it'll just disappear, and who knows where it went. Was it ever real? We don't have to know the answer either. We can just know that we had this thought. We're going to see if we can take a long, deep breath and take an even longer exhale. Changes the way the brain works and puts us in a relaxed state. Instead of that fight or flight, we have to do something. Into more passive, where we can just observe and then react if we need to. So I'm going to count 4 counts on the inhale and 8 counts on the exhale. And if this doesn't work for you, if that's too long, if it's stressful, feel free to adjust on your own. But we're going to breathe in through our nose. 2, 3, 4. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, feel the crown of the head rise. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, slowly deflate the belly. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, feel the crown of the head rise. The body is light. Exhale, slowly contract the belly, squeezing all the way at the bottom. 5, 6, 7, 8. So count yourself. Inhale, 4. Nice opening. Inhale and exhale. Slowly release the air at the bottom of the breath, squeezing the stale air from your body. Just noticing what thoughts are crossing through your mind. Are they pertinent here? Notice where you're squeezing, or your hips and your glutes tight. See if you can release them. staying with your breath. Let's go 3 more breath cycles. Inhale, the crown of the head rises. And a long, slow exhale. Breathing through your nose as much as possible. Final inhale. 2, 3, 4. And exhale slowly through the nose. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's inhale. Let's bring our palms out and face your thumbs behind you. And inhale, slowly raise your arms up with intention, reaching those fingertips out. And then reverse the palms, face the thumbs forward and slowly lower down. Feeling that extension through the fingertips out. And inhale, continue with your breath. And feel the range of motion in your shoulders. Feel if there's any tips, and then moving at your own pace. And notice if you want to move your hands up and down with your thumbs facing in the same way. Maybe that works for your body. This is what works for me. This entire experience, I am just a guide. I'm just making suggestions. So if at any point you want to take a different pose or take a break and come down to child's pose, please feel free. And let's inhale back up and rotate the pinkies towards the front of the room. I can't see. You'll just have to imagine it. So practice with your arms up. So see if your shoulders are up, and then sink your shoulders away from your ears. Give yourself a little space. Find your comfortable neck space. And we're going to bend our elbows and open up the front of our chest to cactus pose. And so our shoulder blades are squeezing slightly together. And see if you can draw your elbows slightly forward, and you'll open up the back, nice and broad through the front, broad through the back. Inhale, rise. Crown of the head rises. Exhale, shrink your shoulders down, bend the elbows, drawing your elbows down, shoulder blades together, and then draw your elbows just slightly forward so you find that balance. Inhale, arms rise. And exhale. Shoulder blades draw together, elbows slightly forward. And we're going to hold this. We're feeling our core a little bit engaged. We're just going to gaze over our right shoulder. So just draw your gaze to your right. And inhale, return to center. And gaze to the left. Inhale, return to center. And just notice where your hips go. Inhale, gaze to the right. And notice the slight shift in your balance. See if your hips are moving at all. And if this is uncomfortable, you can raise your arms up or down. Just find your own space. But just notice when you move your head, your weight shifts slightly. So today we're going to try and keep that balance in the hips nice and level as we go through. All right, shake it out. Let's let our right ear drop to our right shoulder. And just find that opening through the neck. It's a lot connected. It's the back, the shoulder, and the neck, very sensitive areas. And find a slight chin tuck. If you want, you can raise your right hand and place it on your left temple. And don't yank on your neck, just let the weight be heavy. And if this is too much, you don't have to do this. Just all options. Experimenting with the tuck of the chin. And as you're ready, inhale, release the hands, let the head float back up. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. And just let the weight of the head move. You can tuck your chin. We're all going to be sore in different places. So if you'd like, you can raise that left hand up and place your fingertips on your right temples. Experiment with moving the chin down or up. Just nice and gentle. Inhale, release. We're going to raise our arms up and then drop our right arm down and find a little side bend over to the right. Try not to collapse too much, so don't throw your weight all the way over. Try and keep that nice length through the left side without collapsing too much through the right. Not too much forward, not too much back. So finding that openness. And then let's slide that left arm forward, come through a child's pose and sweep our arms over to the left so the left fingertips are on the mat. And bring that right arm over, find that right side bend. Continuing to breathe, noticing where your hips are, probably leaning into the left. So see if you can bring that weight back into your right hip a little bit more. It will really open up that side body. And as you're ready, inhale, rise up. Exhale, let's fold forward, letting the hands land where they want. You can walk your hands forward slightly, whatever is good. See if your forehead comes down, let the neck be relaxed. And breathe. Long breaths. We work hard. A lot of things happening that are out of our control. Now we're going to inhale and come to the tabletop position. And so look at your wrists right under your shoulders, your knees right under your hips. Spread your fingers nice and wide, long, flat back. So throughout any pose we do, we're going to try and elongate the head. So your gaze is not looking forward. It's looking about 6 or 8 inches in front of your hands. And we'll find a cat-cow. So inhale, let the belly drop. The top of the inhale, the crown of the head rises. And exhale, round through the back. And let the head drop. Inhale, rise up. Feeling the movement through the shoulders, moving with your own breath, nice and slow. And notice your glute muscles as you come to that full rounding of the cow pose. Just squeeze your glutes. Find that full motion. And then you fully release them as you round that belly. And you can move into a side-to-side motion, rocking back towards child pose, whatever your body's calling for. And when you come back to center, we'll switch directions. Both sides of the body do not need to be the same. Most things in life are not fully balanced. We can just try and aspire to be aware, account for what we can, and make it better as we can. And now we're going to walk our hands one hand length forward so the heel of our hand is where the tips of our fingers were. We're going to tuck our toes and just raise our hips all the way up. Relax through the shoulders, push down through the hands, and find yourself in the downward facing dog. Raise your hips high to the sky, and bend one knee deeply and then the other. Open up the back of those legs, those hamstrings, and those calves. Staying with the breath. Broad through the backs of the shoulders. Relaxing through the head. So shake it yes and shake it no. Let's inhale, come up to our tiptoes. And then exhale, push our heels down towards the mat. Finding that extension. Reaching our hips towards the sky. And inhale, let's pull forward to plank. So gaze slowly shifts forward, weight shifts over our elbows, pushing back through our heels. Let our hips be heavy. Raise up through the backs of the knees. The crown of the head extends forward. The weight distributed over the hands. Exhale, raise the hips, downward facing dog. Bend deeply. Experiment. You can try shifting both heels to the left side and opening up that side body. And then shift the heels to the other side as you're ready. A lot of ranges here. Don't force anything. And then come back, downward facing dog, hips nice and level. Inhale, come to the tips of the toes. Exhale, reach down through your heels, downward facing dog. Hips are higher than ever. Inhale, bring your weight over your shoulders, extend forward to plank. Maybe you feel a little heat burning. And so each time you come into this, push out through the heels, reach forward with the crown of your head, finding your full length. Now we're going to bend our elbows 2 inches. So not come down out too much, but just bend the elbows. Feel the weight distribution. And then exhale, straighten the arms. Push back, downward facing dog. Reach down to the heels. And one more time, we're going to come forward to plank. Inhale, bring the weight over our arms. And you're always welcome to drop your knees. And they'll still engage those same muscles. And then bend your elbows just 2 inches. Feel the movement in the shoulders. And extend back up. Downward facing dog. Hips to the sky. Now bend the knees deeply. Look between your hands. And take 10 baby steps, walking forward between the hands. And fold. Gentle release. Release through the neck. You can grab opposite elbows and have a gentle sway. Maybe you lean forward into your toes, into the tiptoes a little bit. Wherever you're at, your neck is comfortable. So release the neck, shake it yes, shake it no. Now we're going to let the arms be heavy and let the shoulders release and bend our knees nice and deep. And we're just going to dangle up into a standing pose. We're going to come up to a Tadasana nice and slow. This is where I need a camera person. Like how do I do that close in seated pose and also not have to worry about it, but we're not going to worry about it. So let's find our Tadasana. So let's find our hips. So bring your hands to your hips and find that bony part. Find that bony tip. Look down, find your second toe, and just do a gentle rock. Your second toe is pointed forward. Your ankles are under your knees are under your hips. Shoulders are over your hips, and the crown of the head is right over that. So we're going to inhale, arms up. So pinkies extend. And then exhale, bring it down. Let's do that with intention. Inhale, fingertips out and up. Gaze follows the hands. And exhale, lean with the crown of the head, forward fold. Leave a slight bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands come to the quadriceps. And exhale and fold. Inhale, arms rise. Nice bend in the knees. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms rise. Nice strong foundation. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms rise. Nice bend in the knees. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms rise. Gaze follows the hands. Exhale, dive forward, lead with the crown of the head, and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Crown of the head extends forward, and fold. Now we're going to come into a chair. So bend your knees deep enough so your hands are touching the ground. And I'll get a good pose, good camera guy yet. And we're just going to slowly sink our hips back and then raise our hands up. And see if you can rotate your pinkies in towards each other. It'll open up that side body, widen your shoulder blades. Your weight should be in your hip, the back of the heels. So if you can lean back a little bit more, deep into the seat. Breathing nice and deep. Inhale, straighten the legs and fold. Paddle it out, wherever you like. Let the head be heavy. And there we go again. Bend the knees nice and deep. And fingertips rest on the ground. Then inhale, raise them up. We're going to draw our hands to heart center. Thumbs come to the base of the sternum. And keeping our hips nice and level. So make sure those knees one doesn't fall all the way forward. We're going to draw our left knee over our left elbow over right knee. And gaze back up. And check in with the knees, see if one is pulling forward. Can keep them nice and level. Breathing nice and deep. And inhale. Release. We'll go to the opposite side. Draw the right elbow over the left knee. You're not cranking too much on your fulcrum there or the elbow over the knee. You're just using it as a placeholder. Inhale, release, straighten the legs, and exhale and fold. Relax through the head. Shake it out. Those chairs are a lot of work. That's why we're here. And if you're not here for a lot of work, you're always welcome to do something else. Take a child's pose. Take a moment. Be yourself. And here we go. We're going to come back into a chair pose. So fingertips on the ground. Sink the hips down. Arms rise up. And we're just going to bring the weight into one leg and slowly step it back. High lunge. And bring our fingertips to our hips. So the tendency is for that left hip to draw forward. So bring that right hip forward and that left hip back. So your hips are kind of square to the front of the room. Pushing energy through that back heel. Sinking down. Drawing up. The front leg is right over that front knee. Or front knee is right over that front ankle. And as you're ready, we can raise up. Man, someday PSU will get a budget. We got a good budget. We're doing great. Man, I should just leave it one place. Other classes, they have these big rooms and the camera's all the way back so you can see everything, but I don't have a big room. So just pushing out through that back heel, feeling those hips nice and square. Crown of the head rises up, nice and open. So you broad through the chest and still not contracting through the upper back. Finding that nice balance. We're going to spin that back heel down, come into a warrior two. So your feet are perpendicular. Your right foot is pointing to the long side of the mat. Your left foot is pointing straight forward towards the front. And we really want to check in with that front knee. So put your left hand to the outside of your left knee and push your knee into that. Where you get injured is your right knee tends to fall in. And so as we move through all these standing poses, you really want to make sure there's outward energy pushing to the outside of your mat. So open up. Inhale, feel that gentle tug from the crown of your head. Exhale, ground down to that front heel. Push down to the outside edge of the back foot. Nice and balanced. Inner thighs are squeezing together. Inhale, lean forward, invert the palm, and reverse your warrior. Keeping that nice bend in the front knee. Exhale, return to warrior two. Drop that front elbow, sweep that back arm up and over. Side angle pose. Your legs are nice and strong. They haven't shifted too much. Your hips are nice and balanced. You're welcome to keep your elbow here, but you can also drop it down to the inside or use your block. Whatever's good for you today. But make sure that energy is balanced. Keep pushing energy into that back foot, the outside edge. And inhale. Return to warrior two. We're going to straighten that front knee. We're going to shift our hips towards the back of the room as we lean forward. So your hips are reaching back, your arm is reaching forward. Reach forward a little more. And then we're going to move our arms together and just rotate them, finding your triangle. So you can reach down wherever your left hand lands on your calf. Maybe you can grab it and just gently pull up on that and find that full extension. So you're extending out in all the different directions. Inhale, return to warrior two, bend through that front knee. Exhale, windmill the hands down, downward facing dog. You're welcome to stay here. If you want to find a back bend or not. Let's look between the hands and step forward to the front of our mat. Forward fold. And take a moment, catch our breath. Now bend our knees deeply. Sweep our hands, let them dangle on the front of the mat. Find nice balance between the feet. Sink our hips. Inhale, raise up chair. We're going to go to the opposite side. So as you're ready, sinking deeply into the hips, lean back into the heels. We're going to bring the weight into our right foot, raise our left foot, and slowly step it back. High lunge. So bring your hands down to your hips and just see where they're at. The right hip's probably flipping forward, so just gently help yourself. Draw that right hip back and that left hip forward. And it doesn't have to be a gross movement. Like, well, I wouldn't be able to see how you've shifted, or I probably could, but the casual observer may not be able to. And just look at your form, your knee. Look right over that front ankle, pushing down into that heel. Energy pushing back. Your left leg's really active. And as you're ready, raise your arms back up, high lunge. And this is a lot of work right here. Inhale, the crown of the head rises. With each exhale, ground down, pushing back through that back foot, grounding down into that front heel. Rotate your pinkies in towards each other so you open up that back body. Open up those shoulder blades. All these things are within your control. You can do whatever you like. And as we're ready, we're going to open up to warrior two. So inhale, spin that back foot out so it's perpendicular to the front foot. Open up the arms. Check in with that front knee. Maybe put your right hand on the outside of your right knee and physically push into the outside of it. Just a gentle reminder. After almost 20 years of doing yoga, I still like to do this because it really makes me angry. And I don't like to be angry so I just do what I can. So energy pushing down to that front heel. Inhaling, length through the crown of the head. Reaching out into the back edge of that back foot. Breathing nice and evenly. Inhale through the nose. And here we go. We're going to lean forward, invert the palm. Exhale, reverse your warrior. So open up that side body. And inhale. Draw your out, come through warrior two. Come back to side angle, right elbow to right knee. And then sweep that arm around. Extending the fingertips forward. Keeping that grounding through the legs. Pushing out the outside edge of that back foot. Grounding down into that front right heel. And of course, you're welcome to find your variation if you want to drop that front arm. Inhale. Return to warrior two. We're going to straighten that front leg. Legs stay the same, hips stay about the same. We're just going to shift the hips back and we lean forward. Continue to lean a little bit further, and then move your arms together. Right hand goes to the outside of the right calf. Left arm rises straight to the air. And your gaze can be wherever's comfortable. Gaze can be up, gaze can be down. Just check in with your own neck. And see if you can grab hold of that right calf and just pull up. And that helps open up this lower side body. Breathing nice and deep. Let's inhale, return to warrior two, rebends through that front knee. And exhale, inhale the hands down, downward facing dog. You're welcome to come to a back bend. Let's just take a moment in child's pose. So come down to your knees and let your forehead drop. Your knees are welcome to be together or wide apart. Depending on your personal preference, they all have a different anatomical function. A lot of options. Always more options. And whatever you choose, that's good. So let's take the wide-legged forward fold now all together. So bring our toes together, big toes touch. And we're going to walk our hands forward and just let our our hips be heavy. We're coming down into a child's pose. And just let our forehead rest on the mat. The hips are all the way down. And push your both hands down into the mat. And just notice what muscles are firing. Find the muscles in the shoulder blades. And so now just push your right hand down into the mat. And let your left hand be light. And then do the opposite. Push down with your left hand. And we'll raise the right hand. And see now if we can raise the left hand and push down to the right. Really getting, this is a lat exercise. So if you feel the area of behind and the back of your shoulder blade going down to your hips, you can feel that. So just notice that engagement, just discovering the body. And see if you can raise your right hand a couple inches off the mat and set it down. And then the left hand up And set it down. One more round. Let's find a relaxation Trout pose. So bring your knees together. Put your hands down by your feet and just breathe. Draw your weight down into your hips, slight side to side movement. Breathing nice and deep, mostly through your nose. And as you're ready, let's walk our hands forward, come onto our bellies. Bring our elbows under our shoulders. We'll come into Sphinx Pose. So we'll shake your hips out just a little bit. We're going to find this alignment so elbows are under the shoulders. If this is sensitive to your back, you can walk your elbows forward slightly. I like it right here. So we're going to push down with our elbows and feel that breath across the chest. We're just going to draw our elbows back towards our hips like we're trying to wrinkle up our mat. The neck is nice and long, so it's not looking up and it's not looking down. It's got a distance forward gaze. Breathing nice and deep. And here from Sphinx, we can try that again. So notice your hips, where they go. We're going to gaze over our right shoulder. And just notice that subtle shift that the body wants to give. And inhale, return to center. And look over the left shoulder. And so even these really micro movements that don't really involve the hips. And look over the right shoulder again. It's all connected. We're observing. And come to stillness. Let's roll, I know. Let's come to the model pose. So we're going to roll over onto our side and just find the right hand on our right temple. We're going to find the flex through our feet and use this front hand for balance. If you didn't have that hand, we're kind of struggling here to maintain. But we're just going to find a little leg lift. This can be a pose in itself, but I think it's too advanced for us. We're going to do a little leg lift, just open up that side hip. So flex that foot. So really keep that bend in the foot. And then as we exhale, raise it up until you reach your edge. Nice, slow, controlled movements, pushing out through that heel. Moving with the breath. You're going as high as you can, pushing it. Well, there's an injury-free day. So if you've reached your edge, you're feeling tired. This is one of those harder to reach muscle groups, that outer hip. And one more. And we'll roll to the opposite side. So on the right side. Extend through those hips. Find your balance on your right side. Breathing nice and even. Maybe you move, inhale on the up. And exhale, slowly lower down. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe that works for you. There's no set rules. Just what makes you feel better in the moment. Doesn't mean go buy a gallon of ice cream and eat it, but if it does you once in a while, there's no bad things. A little indulgence. Let's go one more. And then we'll come on up. Let's come back to standing. Yeah. So just shake it out. We're going to find our Tadasana again. So burn that whole body. Yeah, I always have this, I've talked about it before. We'll talk about it now. But we're just going to find that Tadasana. So we already found it once, but now that we're warmed up, we feel that inner hot, the thighs. And so we're just going to find that balance. So open up through the chest. Maybe we find those cactus arms. So you draw your elbows down, or draw your shoulder blades down, and then just slightly pull your elbows forward and feel that broadening across the chest. Your legs are active, pushing down to the heels. Toes are spread nice and wide, so your quadriceps are engaged. We're just going to find a twist. So finding those hips and leaving those hips, the lower body is not going to move very much. We're going to look over the right shoulder as we move the elbow back. And then inhale, return to center. So notice how the weight is shifting. Go to the left now. So gaze goes, elbow follows, and the hips are nice and steady. And you feel your abs burning. You feel them fire up. And so you feel when you move to the right, you got that right upper abs pulling back to the right. And left upper abs pulling down as your right leg draws down into the mat. Keeping the chest broad as you keep your upper back broad. Very nice. All right, let's come down to our knees, a high knee. So we'll come standing on our knees. And we'll extend our left leg out. So So the foot is flat on the mat. So we're going to inhale, arms up, and let the left arm come down, not wasting on the knee, and find that full body stretch to the side. See if you can push down through that outside left of the foot. Your neck is in a comfortable position. Breathing nice and deep. Two more breaths here. Feeling that side body open up as you reach down through that knee. Inhale, return to center as you lower your right hand down and find that full reaching stretch. Your neck's in a comfortable position. Pushing down to that outside edge of the left foot. And inhale, we'll return to center. Yeah, and anytime you're on your knees, you're welcome to pad it with a blanket. Sometimes the yoga mat's enough, sometimes it's not. Let's come back to this high knee position. Step your right foot out. We'll go to the opposite side. So inhale your arms up. Exhale, right hand slides down. Open up that left side body. Pushing down into that standing leg. Pushing down into that right outside edge of the foot. And notice if you're diving forward or leaning way back. Notice if you're holding tension in your jaw. It's not really helping you here, and just notice. It's nothing to feel guilty about. Just an observation. Inhale, return to center. You're going to sweep that left hand down. Fingertips come down to the mat and find that opposite side stretch. Breathing nice and deep. And then inhale. Let's return. So we're on our high knee. So we're going to take our hands. We're going to take the heels of our hands and place them at the small of our back. And we're going to open up through that front of the chest, just like we did. And so we can flex through our toes. And so we're just going to push our hips forward, open up the chest. And you want to be really gentle with your neck here. You don't want it to crash all the way back. So keep reaching that crown of the head back, even as your chin rises, pushing down through the hands. And this could be enough right here. You squeeze those glutes, pushing your hips forward. And if it's available to you, maybe you extend that right hand up all the way, rotate it down and find your heel. And if that feels okay, extend the left hand and reach back. Find your left heel and find this camel pose. And so try squeezing your glutes that'll push your hips forward and push into the mid back, raising through the chest, being mindful of your neck, not letting it collapse back. Squeeze through the glutes. And inhale, we turn out the way you came in. Oh, shake it out. Oh, time is passing. Time is always passing, like it or not. So let's shake it out. Let's come onto our backs and have a bent knee position. So reach down, and if your knee, so just so you don't have to strain your neck, you can reach down and feel your fingertips against the heels. And that's usually right where your ankles are under your knees, but maybe for you, if it's more comfortable, you can walk your feet forward an inch or two. Now we're going to keep our legs bent. We're going to draw our right knee into our chest. Just open up the hip a little bit. Now let's extend that left leg high to the sky. Keep that ankle flexed. And just let's watch our low back, right where the tailbone meets the sacrum. So now we're going to exhale and slowly lower that foot down, all the way down, and watch that back. Then inhale it all the way back up. And just notice the weight, the shift in the weight of the hips. Exhale, slowly lower down. Inhale, all the way back up in a bicycle motion. And there's nothing good or bad, unless you hurt yourself. That's really terrible. 2 more full circles here. Lower down, staying in control. And then bring both feet back down. And we'll draw our left knee back to the chest. And if you clasp your hands, put the opposite pinky on the opposite side, so your opposite pinky is out. And so open up that hip just a little bit, wiggle it in and out. Notice where you're feeling. Notice what the hips feel like now. And then raise that right foot high to the sky. Push out through that heel. And then slowly lower down. Observing the hips. Inhale, bend it and rise it up. Moving with your breath, nice and slow, in control. You don't have to impress anyone. The lower you lower your leg down, the more challenging it is. But that's not necessarily the best option. So just notice these hips. Notice your body. So there's something to be said for evenness. And it's a good skill to have in your quiver. But nothing's really necessary. It's just an awareness. We just control what we can. And we observe the things that aren't there. that aren't in our control. And one more time. And release both legs. Shake it out. Let's bring the soles of our feet together. And you can move your feet forward or back, depending on what's comfortable for your back. So if something is, maybe try it forward and try it back, just to see. Maybe there's something better. Maybe there's something that's different than 2 years ago. We don't know. Begin to settle down, keeping your mind in this room. Noticing how you're feeling. Noticing the tension that may still be holding in your jaw. Notice if you're still squeezing the glutes a little bit. If you have an inversion in your practice you'd like to attempt, or if you want to try a happy baby, it's a good time to do that. So we'll just take 2 minutes to move our body the way we want. Shoulders stand, tuck those elbows nice and close so you find that full support. Look up at your toes and see if they're pointed at the ceiling. Always being mindful of the neck and that weight distribution. And as we're ready, we'll come down and straighten the legs and find the body in a comfortable position. Extending the legs, getting a blanket if you like to keep yourself warm as you cool down. And before we enter Shavasana, let's all extend our legs and draw our feet together. Draw our hands close into our sides. Squeeze our jaw. Let's squeeze our wrists, our fists. Push out our heels. Clench your thighs. Clench your whole body. Feel all that tension and release. Let your feet flop to the outside. Let your jaw release. Move it about. And we'll do this one more time. Flex your toes back. Squeeze your fists. Push your whole body into the ground. Squeeze your glutes. Feel all that fury. And release. And wiggle your hips. And spread your feet wide. Move your hands 6 or 8 inches out from the body so your shoulder blades can open. Find a slight tuck to your chin. And just find stillness. Keeping your body, your mind in this room. Letting go of your breath. Scanning your body. Just noticing. You don't have to change anything. When your mind starts to drift, bring it back to this room, this moment. This is where we control. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring small movements back to your body by wiggling your fingers and your toes. As you're ready, start to roll your limbs in and out. No rush. So bring awareness back, transitioning. As you're ready, extend your legs, flex your heels back, flex your toes back and push out through your heels. Bring your hands together into a clasp and reach your body into a full body stretch. And inhale, give yourself a big hug. Thank yourself for coming to class today, expanding your practice. As you're ready, come up to a comfortable seat, keeping your gaze lowered or your eyes closed. Bring your thumbs together and to the base of your sternum. The spirit in me recognizes and respects the spirit in you. Namaste.